can you just give us maybe a brief overview of what are the major issues that the PPA, now under the Marcos administration, what are the major issues that it wants to look at?
Well, as instructed by the president,
yes,
we're trying to modernize our systems.
Okay.
So for the past 6 years, we've been focused on infrastructure improvement.
I see.
For the next 6 years, we'll be focusing on the digitalization and improving the process.
Right. So from build now to modernizing.
Yeah. So
okay,
we have enough ports.
Okay.
We're trying to facilitate the improvement of the services which we give our riding public.
Okay.
So although there will still be infrastructure improvements, but our focus now is how to improve our process, how to digitalize, how to make it more transparent.
Right. So how difficult is that? How far are we from, truly calling our ports modernized and digitalized? I'm sure work has been going on for many administrations, right? So certainly probably PPA is not starting from ground zero, but what's the status now? And how much work are you looking to do? Will this take the whole 6 years? More than, even beyond the Marcos administration? Or what are you looking at?
It's important to know where we're at.
Yes.
So in line with that, our general manager, Jay Santiago, has created a committee in order to create a roadmap for digitalization.
Okay.
We're looking at all our systems. Okay. We're reviewing if these systems are still effective.
Okay.
We're seeing if what these systems seek to improve, what
right,
these systems seek to provide. And then with that, we will be able to project the next 6 years,
right,
the next steps which we will be taking.
Right.
This is also in line with the requirements under the single window which we are required to commit by the end of the year.
Right. And at the forum, you were talking about one major project of the PPA, the e-ticketing system.
Yes, electronic terminal management system.
Right. Could you talk about that? What does that mean to people and businesses, cargo businesses? What does that mean to them?
Okay, this is more focused on the riding public.
Okay.
Our goal is we would create a system wherein our riding public would be able to plan their trips by sea, okay, from end to end. So okay, we're an archipelago.
Okay. So they don't have to go to the port and physically buy tickets.
Physically buy tickets, so you can buy online.
Right.
Now, for example, if you want to do a road trip from Manila, from Luzon to Mindanao, okay, it would entail several boats.
Right.
So our goal here is, under the system, you'd be able to plan your entire trip on the system.
Fantastic.
We are offering the system to the shipping lines, okay, because not all shipping lines can provide for an online system.
I see.
So with this system, you'd be able to book it online,
right,
and when you get to the port, all payments will be done via the system. Now we also cover those who don't have online access.
Okay.
We will be setting up terminals at the port wherein, right, you can purchase your ticket. So right, from end to end, you'll be able to
right,
to plan your ticket.
Right. And so this system, when does it come online? What's the timetable?
We're currently doing a review for ARTA. So
okay,
we want to ensure that all our processes which we are to implement would be compliant with the ease of doing business.
Right.
Currently, as I mentioned during the talk, that we've completed the ARTA requirement, the regulatory impact analysis for our top trusted operator program, container registry monitoring system.
Right.
So now we're preparing the documentation as well for our electronic ticketing monitoring system.
Right. So do you think that can happen this year, or are we looking at next year? Or
well, hopefully it'll happen within the year.
Within the year. So it's very soon. It's very exciting. I know.
Yeah, well, we have the initial policy to begin with. So
you're just checking the compliance.
Yeah, making sure that everything would be compliant and right, would really obtain the objectives which the policy seeks to improve.
Right, and you were saying during your talk that this would eliminate the fixers in the ports. Could you elaborate on that?
We have
because it's all now online.
Yeah,
right?
we have passengers who get to the ports and they, yeah, only buy their tickets then.
Right.
Now, if you buy it online, when you get there, you won't be able to get it from scalpers. Also, we'll be right, able to monitor who's purchasing the tickets.
I see.
So you won't be able to readily transfer that ticket. So which is probably what's happening now. That's why there are scalpers. They buy a lot of tickets,
right,
and then when you go to the shipping line, it's already full because someone has already bought all the tickets.
Right. So for the consumers, is it correct to say that this becomes this benefits them in terms of cost because it makes the ticket more affordable, right? I mean, as opposed to going to a scalper, right? Does it eliminate travelers from queuing, or I mean, does it save them time? Also because it's all bought, as you said before.
You
Right?
no longer have to queue, and when you present your ticket, they will no longer have to review it because you'll be scanning your QR code for the ticket. So it would also ease the entry into our terminals.
I see. And also during your talk, you're talking on the cargo side that the port managers, ICTSI, ATI, they have their own mobile apps. You were showing that there. Can you talk about that?
Well, these mobile apps are to assist the port users with regards to scheduling of the trucks to pick up cargo. It also assists them in paying for fees, etc. So it's more on the services or for that particular terminal operator. What we're providing for under PPA is to provide a system which could be adopted nationwide.
I see. Are these apps already existing?
Yes, they're already existing.
They're existing.
So what was presented earlier were current digitalization efforts which are being used by the port users and taken advantage by the port users now.
Right. So very exciting. Does that also help address, some of the corruption issues in the past? Because I think one of the main things about digitalization is that it removes that temptation, right? Because it basically automates the whole process.
I can't answer for what were the issues in the past regarding corruption, but with this system, payments would be done online. So you apply for a service, you pay it online, and then so it reduces the human
the intervention. So does that make it also faster? Because I know that's a factor for many cargo companies, the turnaround.
You won't be lining up.
Right.
You won't be prepared documents, and at the comfort at your offices, you can process your documentation.
Right. So and hopefully that will translate into efficiencies and cost savings.
Well, all the documents will be online. Payments will be online, so you no longer have to queue. You no longer have to present it one by one to. And if you have someone ahead of you in the queue with a large list of documents, large list of transactions, you'd have to wait. But now it's you process at your own time.
Now these apps are mainly for the ports in Manila, but you also were talking about some of the projects that you were looking at in Davao, Iloilo. Can you talk about that? What are some of the exciting things going on there?
One of a way to modernize the ports is the PPA is getting the participation of the private sector. Now, under our Port Terminal Management Regulatory Framework, we are bidding out the operations of these ports. So PPA steps back from the actual operation of the ports and we give it to the private sector. Now, with this, the private sector would have certain obligations depending on what I explained earlier as the tier. Under Tier 1, the water side and the land side developments under the PPA's master plan would be the responsibility of the operator. Under Tier 2, the land side development is the responsibility of the operator. So this would be if we require cranes, we require improvements on additional equipment, etc.
Modernizing equipment.
So the private sector is more they adapt quicker. So from PPA side, we set
You're creating the environment for the private sector to
we set the performance indicators. So they have to provide efficiency. So we monitor efficiency. So it's rather than PPA handling the ports, PPA steps back and starts regulating. So we don't compete against the other ports. These ports compete against each other, but they have the same KPIs, and we standardize the rates.
Well, thank you very much for your time. A lot of exciting things going on at the PPA. We wish you good luck. This is Business and Politics. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.